This dog food recipe had my family up in arms. They were like, "This chicken is for the dog? I don't get it, Mom. Like, can we eat that? Cause we're hungry." Yes, y'all could have eaten it because guess what? It's all natural ingredients. I did clean it with some apple cider vinegar, add some chicken stock. Oh, that's beef broth. Sorry, add the chicken stock later. But think of this as like a all in one pot kind of dinner meal. This was the easiest thing for me to do. I'm 37 weeks pregnant. I don't have time to be doing all the intricacies for these meals, but I wanted to make sure he was straight. He was going to have enough food for when I have the baby, so I could put some of this in the fridge. And this ended up being bomb.com. And let me tell you why. Because, all right, this is the turmeric for hip and joint mobility. This is like the only seasoning I added. Added the black pepper so that he could absorb it. But this ended up being useful in so many different ways. Like the chicken, the bone, I used every single part of this. That's why I really loved doing this. It was an experiment, to be honest with you, because I've never done this before. I don't even like making whole chickens for my family, but I went ahead and did this because I felt like the meat would yield so many servings and it would have so many different purposes, and it did. So I was so glad that I did that. My family was jealous, like I said. They were like, why is the dog getting a whole chicken? And I'm like, because he deserves it. Okay. All right, so the chicken's ready. Set it the oven 375 because what other temperatures do you use? I mean, someone comment below. That's the temperatures I always use. Here it is. I cooked it till it was golden brown. I don't have the timing. I'm sorry, guys, but it should look like this. It should be well thoroughly cooked. I just checked the vegetables, made sure everything was cooked. And I peeled the skin because I felt like that was a choking hazard in the form that it was in, because I do not waste the skin. That's why I'm saying it like that. I did not waste the skin, and you're going to see what I did with the skin later. The skin, the bones, everything. I wanted to be able to use every single part of this chicken because I wanted this to last so very long and yield me the most servings possible. And it did. Very, very happy with the results I got from this chicken. And like I said, just separating everything here so that I can get all the meat off of these bones and prepare his food. The next step is going to be grabbing the vegetables, and this is the steel cut oats. That's what it looks like. In the background, I'm just going to be mixing it. And that just has all the juices, the chicken, the vegetable juices, everything. So that alone is like a yummy little snack for him. And that was just really fun and soothing to play with. I measure out my chicken. I measure out my steel cut oats. I measure out sweet potatoes, carrots, everything. And that's just based on his calories. So I won't get into that. That's like, I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't want to steer anyone wrong. This is that first texture. I added water to make that. That's the second one. That will be for his main meals, and the first texture will be for lick pads and things like this. Added cucumbers to this. This is going to be a frozen enrichment treat. Green beans, and then that smoother texture one. Now this is just a big, huge bag that I was able to get from some of the chicken and extras, and that's what it looked like. I did a second one because I still had some left over. Waste not, want not. This one has sardines and it has some of those cucumbers as well. And then I'm just going to satisfyingly pour on that thick, creamy mixture. It almost looks like peanut butter. I just try to put the same amounts here. This didn't really have a measurement, a rhyme, or reason. This would just be a snack, like I said, or an enrichment. So I wasn't counting calories here. Go ahead and pour on that mixture. Look at that. So satisfying, almost like icing a cake. And if you saw my other video where I used this mold, you'll see how messy it was in comparison to this. And I mean, the dog didn't complain, but it's for the aesthetics, you know? I bought these little hearts. I want them to be hearts. Like, let's be for real. It's for the aesthetics sometimes. And waste not, want not, because I definitely made sure I squeezed every single drop out of that bag. You're gonna see me like spreading everything and making sure it looks so cute, but also squeezing that bag for dear life, because I want to make sure I did not waste any part of this chicken. That was the point. You know, what's the point of doing all this work? And I know I called this the lazy girl method, but it was quite a bit of work that went into doing this. I'm not gonna lie. And this was over a course of 2 days because your girl was tired. All right, this is another thing I did. I made some I call this egg wash. And I used about 4 eggs and their shells. So I could just use it to pour over. And this was his first meal. I do use the native daily just to make sure I'm not missing anything. And then I feed him. But before that, remember those chicken skins and those bones? Well, here they are. That's the chicken skin. And then that's the bones that I'm going to use for bone broth. And look how happy he was with his meal. He really just dogged it. Pun intended, he dogged it. He really, really enjoyed this meal.